Shalom, shalom, and welcome to today's episode of Living Chronicles. I am Sister Racayah, aka your forever librarian, and today I am very humbled and honored to welcome to the Living Chronicles studio, Ahk Nadav. Welcome to Living Chronicles.
Toda.
Hallelujah. So we're going to start with his bio and go into his journey. We've been having this great conversation even before we got started, y'all. I hope that he says some of the stuff that he said already. Okay, so we have Ahk Nadav ben Israel. His name means kind and gracious, and he is definitely that. He has 5 children in 1990, okay? He is a husband, a father, an entrepreneur, an engineer, poet and orator, graphic specialist, content creator. He's a certified CBT practitioner, a consultant, the CEO of Faith Over Fate Ministries, and also manages the Extension of Compassion Project. And he's going to share insight on all of that with us today. Again, welcome to Living Chronicles.
Thank you.
So happy to have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we will get started. We always start with your beginning.
Yes.
Recount your childhood growing up in the KOY, school, childhood friends, favorite pastimes, family, people that made an impact, any of that.
Okay, I'm going to go to as early as possible as I can. So I remember living in Sari-Saskar home.
Okay,
and I was a toddler at the time, living with my mother, Renona. And I remember her bathing me in a small red tub.
Yeah, we all use those little tubs.
That small red tub, but it was sitting on on top of the washing machine, I believe.
Oh, you were a baby there.
Yeah, inside the shower room.
Right.
Yes. And I remember rolling over her stomach, in the middle of the night. I remember that time.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories of Adiel and I, growing up together in that same house.
Right.
That was Ahk and Racayah family at the time. Yes.
Right. Ahk Nadav lived there one time.
Ahk Nadav, may she rest in power.
Yes.
She's
absolutely man, beautiful sister, beautiful
such a
spirit.
Good sister.
Yep.
Such a good sister. She just called me to see if we was safe. When they had the bombing in Beersheba.
Mm-hmm.
Man, That was a very sentiment part. Yeah, but and I remember growing up there with Adil and riding bikes up and down that street in front of
Right.
Nasik Manuel House. Yeah, that
What they
street
call
right there.
Smooth Street now.
Okay, they call that the Smooth Street. Okay,
Yeah, they call it Smooth Street now.
okay, okay, the Smooth Street. Okay, so yeah, I remember that. I remember a moment being at my Safta Zavda house in the Kufar. I'm not sure how long I lived there, but I remember taking naps there, but not literally living there. Okay, and I had to be once again like between almost 5.
Okay.
Okay. However, there's a story that was shared, but I wasn't old enough to experience everything that happened. So the big gap was when my parents released when I was 8 months. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Okay. And I was aware that my parents really released when the 3 girls was born. I have 3 big sisters. Okay. But in my bio, I put 13 because my father, before he came to Israel, he was already married, I believe, or he got married in the kingdom with this sister from college.
Okay.
And they had a child. And his name was Ben Shlomo.
Okay.
Okay. So Ben Shlomo, who know him personally, was Rofa Ariella, Eshet the wordsmith.
Okay.
Akishaya, yes. And so she was aware of him and she had care of him at the time. And so he and my father's first wife made transition. I'm not sure how many people are aware of that.
Okay. I
Okay.
wasn't.
Okay, so my elder sister, Maskila, she may think that she's the oldest, but Ben Shlomo is the oldest.
Okay. Maskila, you're not the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ben Shlomo was the oldest. Let's not eliminate him. So that was my Abba first son, and then he had 3 girls.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in my Abba's footprints by having 3 girls because he have 3 girls and currently 6 boys. Okay, and I know I said 6 parents involved.
Right.
So them parents is my father and my mother. They had the first 5 children.
Okay.
I am the youngest.
Okay.
Okay, and I was blessed along the journey to be a big brother to another 3 brothers and sisters that my mother and Queen Oman
Okay.
had. Okay, the head of the Ministry of Divine Justice.
Right.
Yes. So he and
May
my
he
mother
rest in power as
may
well.
he rest in power as well. You know, he and my mother had 3 children together, and that was 2 girls and a boy.
Right.
Okay. Now my father got married again to the sister Makeba. She would like to be called by Makeba, not
Right.
the Hebraic name, and honor and in respect to what she know the meaning of that. So they was blessed to have 3 boys. Okay, if you're aware online, they're known by Boy Brothers MMA.
Right. Okay. Right. Right. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So the champ, you know, he's the youngest of them. Okay, that's Shlomo Boy. Now, along the lines, I was blessed with another brother that's with Imaliza and my Abba Shlomo.
Okay.
And he's Yitzchak. Okay, so Yitzchak, he's the youngest of us all. Now, for me to be a big brother of 7 brothers and sisters, that's a major role. A major role. In reality, I'm a big brother to them, but I have an older brother. He's my older brother. You know, no slight to him, but my younger brothers and sisters will say I'm the big brother.
Right.
Because to whom much is given, much is required. Meaning I'm present in the land and I call them and I look after them. I'm asking them, do they need anything? And I'm appealing to their emotions. You know, I'm never calling them to ask them to send me items and to send me goods. I'm always calling to see how they're doing. And at the same time, I'm being in alignment with my purpose. Meaning stand true and committed to serving Yah, keeping his statutes and commandments to the best of my abilities. Using the wisdom that Kohen Yosef shared with me. Don't rule over your wife, but rule in her, through her.
Wow. You'll have to elaborate on that when you get a minute.
I will elaborate now.
Okay, go
I will
ahead.
elaborate now.
I just didn't want to take you off of your.
I'm not off my track because
Okay.
everything is connected. And as I share my story, you will see that it's all creative. It's called creativity. Okay? So, in ruling in your wife, through your wife, and not over her, is saying that you respect her. Using the terminology of respect versus allow.
Oh,
Yes. As in, you respect her voice. You respect her confidence. You respect her being. You respect her autonomy. And if she decides that she want to interject for a few minutes and express her voice, she can do it freely. And it's incumbent upon me to have the emotional capacity, psychological capacity, and spiritual capacity in order to withhold all of what she's sharing, because
Right.
I'm her dwelling place. I'm home for her. If you ever realized in the term husband, you see it's two words. And I believe that I heard this from someone, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it came from Brother Shariel.
okay.
But husband is a band of a house. A band of a house. But in the term Abba, you see the letter bet. And that bet signifies bite, home. And so that aleph is the essence of Yah's name, Elohim, power, ability. So when you have the ability to band a house, to define the house, to gate the house, if you see in Hebrew you have gader, that's a gate, right?
Right.
So Hagdara is what is that to define? So the power to define is saying that you have the ability to set a healthy boundary. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Toda Rabah.
But
Toda.
man, but my journey from childhood is I remember hearing one of the testimonies on your podcast, and one of the brothers shared. I know his name, but he shared how they was pushing the cart down the road and everything. I've experienced that as well. We've experienced being in a ride, my brother and I experiencing challenging times. Very challenging times. Yes, I don't recall. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when we was hungry, we ate wherever we was gonna eat from. You pick up that cornbread and it smelled like it's lemony. I mean, it's spoiled. It's
Right.
no longer good.
Right.
But hey,
You were hungry.
hey, absolutely. Or tippy-toeing into the refrigerator at night to get a piece of tofu. Man, hey, I received the repercussions that I received. I welcomed them. But I've learned that my past perceived voids, I know that they're currently my present perceived values.
Okay.
I know that. So if you see me taking care of my children and taking care of my wife, or battling a poverty mentality, you might say, hey, why do you live in a home with 6 bedrooms? Why? Why spend all of that money? First of all, let's remove the term spend out the way. Let's put an X on term spend. And let's put a check next to the term invest.
Okay.
Because we investing in our psychological safety. We investing in our spiritual sanity. We investing in our physical security. We invest in. And if we can succeed to pay on it 1 month, then we can succeed the next month. And after the 3rd month, it becomes a consistency. And that's part of the formula of success.
Right.
You see that?
Right.
But you're probably wondering, what is the formula of success? Because you said it's a part of the formula of success. So I'm going to share with the people. The formula of success is faith, discipline, focus, and patience and consistency. That's a formula of success. And in Hebrew, you're going to see success is hatzlacha. But in success, in hatzlacha, you're going to see tzalachat. Do you see tzalachat in hatzlacha?
Okay. All right.
So that means you bringing forth every day that daily bread to put on that plate. Every day. Every day. That means my children don't have no reason to take. They have no reason to take because they blessed with receiving. They blessed with the gift of receiving every day. And my wife fight hard for that. She fight hard for that. And all I can do is, every time I see the fight in her for that, because you're either going to fight, flight, or freeze.
Right.
Born and raised in a concrete jungle of Chicago, Illinois, you was raised to be tough. As you said, it's just something about us Southern people in America, but the ones from Detroit and Chicago, they had to develop that thick skin.
Right.
And so I've learned, in order to develop thick skin, in order to be compatible with my wife. Because my wife, she's sovereign in her being. She is. And I know that. And I say, I be applying introspection to myself, reflecting to myself, and I just ask myself, where did this strength comes from? Where did it come from? In order to be compatible and able to continue to rise in love with my wife after the course of almost 9 years. I be asking myself that.
And what response do you get from yourself?
The same response I gave to Sister Racayah when she asked me, how did you get here? And I just gave her a creative...
You're going to have... And you can pull it closer.
And I just gave her a creative answer. And I said, long suffering.
Long suffering?
Long suffering. Long suffering. After a period of time of long suffering, you're going to realize that if you continue to try to run, where you running to? Where you running to? As Kohen Yehuda shared in one of his great classes, about spiritual warfare. He said the war been on ever since you've been born. Mm-hmm. Ever since you came out the womb, the war been on. Mm-hmm. Whether you know it or not. If you park on the red and white out there, and you didn't know that you was going to get a ticket, you still getting a ticket.
You still getting a ticket.
You still getting a ticket. If you're afraid to invest in something now because you believe that you're not going to have the money later for it, and you're not going to be able to pay for it later, let me tell you something. You paying for it this way or that way.
One way or the other.
Because if you're afraid that the tangible money you have, or the credit money that you have, or the debit money that you have, or the check money that you have, or your face card money that you have, by saying I got you later on it, if you're afraid to utilize the power of the now, later you're going to regret that you didn't execute that now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the power of the present is so impeccable. The frequency arises, the vibration stimulates, and the energy elevates. I'm telling you, I'm being on purpose right now with these words, because it's like you cannot afford to sacrifice the present, the now, that good vibe now, for the future that may not be promised to you.
Right.
You cannot do that.
You also cannot live in fear.
No. As my wife say, her uncle shared with her, a scared man walking is a dead man walking. I should say that again.
Say it again.
A scared man walking is a dead man walking. That needs to be a mantra. A scared man walking is a dead man walking. I'm saying that on purpose because we've been walking dead for so long. We've been walking dead for so long. I see a lot of your peer group, right? And I sit back sometimes and I just laugh with my wife, in a positive way. I say, sweetheart, the sisters, her peer, the whole group of people, they so happy right now. They just like, oh, let me give me some locks in my hair. Let me put on this cute blouse. Let me put on some nice shoes. And I be saying, like, if it's you, Sister Sipur, if it's Sister Hamuda, if it's Sister, if it's Sister Sharona, if it's Brother Bukuria, Sister Harmony, because it's like I can connect with y'all because it's like y'all had y'all breakthrough to y'all true freedom around the same time I had my breakthrough. I'm serious. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. Like, y'all had y'all breakthrough of freedom, as Brother Aharon said. Yes, he want to wear an earring. Okay, he want to wear an earring. They want to wear an earring. They want to do what they want to do what they believe is. They know they're gonna live. They know they're gonna live. They know they understand that to be real and to keep it 100 and to not be fake and phony is the way to go. Because, right, you can be a wolf in sheep clothing. Like, I could have chose to put on my impeccable, amazing outfit from the world. I chose to dress in this.
Right.
You know, I'm not walking with my shoes untied or with baggy pants, you know.
Right. Hanging off of you.
Yeah, you know, see, it would have been beautiful to share with us. You can dress with etiquette and with style versus being a bum. See what I'm saying?
I definitely understand.
If they told us to dress, if the adults in history and historical events would have shared with us, listen, I'm not telling you to tie your shoes because I'm disappointed in you or at you, but I'm asking you to tie your shoes because it's class. You know, it shows gumption, it shows dignity, it shows self-pride. If they would have approached us that way, with a positive, holistic tonation in which I'm sharing with you now or with you now.
Tonation.
A holistic tonation, because tonation is everything. Tonation is vibration. Tonation is energy. And I'm going to show you how. And I love bringing everything back from the Hebraic thought, because the Hebraic thought is so impeccable. And I understand and overstand that this modern day Hebrew is not the standard.
Right.
You know, it's ancient Hebrew, you know, and I can speak a little ancient Hebrew. It's the fact that when I do see this modern Hebrew to utilize them letters, they're so powerful. So when I just zone in into a word, I see chashmal, and I just see two whole worlds. I see chash, which is the root for tchusha, which is a whole sensitivity, a sense, a feeling. And that comes with your intuition, your discernment. And then I see mala, mem lamet. Now I insert ya into that, and what do we see? Mila. You see the beauty in that. And when you see mila, it's saying, okay, so this is the methodology that we're gonna utilize in order to help people activate, implement, and manifest, is to bring from thought to reality. As one of the brothers said on your podcast, is from thought to words to then reality. You see? Because the trusha, as you say, CBT practitioner, is from the cognition, then to the feeling, then from the feeling to the behavior. Now, the behavior is all the energy, and in order to bring them words into fruition, it's a way you bring it into fruition. And so when you bring it into fruition, then you are not going to bite your tongue. You're not going to stutter. You're going to eliminate the uhs and the ehs when you express yourself. And that's called lucidity in the mind. And that's cognitive behavioral therapy. That's how you receive self-therapy.
So is that when you say the CBT practitioner, that's what can you elaborate a little bit on that? That was the next question that we were going to go into.
Sure.
And what caused you to go into that?
Sure. So to be 100% truthful with you, my sister, you know, one of my sisters, she was so excited at one of her accomplishments, you know, and she received a certificate from an online course.
Okay.
Dabbling into the first aid of psychology, the first aid kit of psychology. The first aid kit of psychology is a listening ear.
A listening ear.
A listening ear. It's the first aid kit in psychology.
Okay.
And I'm gonna assimilate this with what you're doing. What you're doing is you're giving a listening ear to people who would like to express their story.
Yes.
Is drama unfolding, is trauma unfolding, so that they can walk out of here feeling alive. If they really seize the opportunity to come here and to utilize the opportunity the way they should, they're going to walk out of here feeling alive. Why? Because you emphasized to share as little or as much as you would like to. I really hope they heard that. I really hope y'all heard that, because when y'all come on here, share as little or as much. But if you wise, you're going to share as much as you can, because that's self-therapy, and it's also therapy for her, because where two or more is in my presence, Yah is there. And he's healing both of us, all of us. So what inspired me to go into CBT practitioner, I was looking at some online courses, and I wanted to study something that's close to home.
Okay.
What's close to home for me is knowing that I was hospitalized 13 times.
13 times.
13 times. Now, there was a gap in between each hospitalization, whether if it was a month, whether if it was a year, whether if it was 8 months. But there was gaps in between.
From what age? How young were you when this started?
From age 18 to age 25. I have all of my records, all of them, till this very moment. I have all of the medications that they've given me. I have all of the diagnoses that they labeled me under. And as of today, it would be kind of funny for me to accept them labels, because you really analyze a person according to their speech pattern. That's how you can tell if their puzzle in their mind is fixed, or if it's scribble scramble in there. Scribble scrabble.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't be able to drive a vehicle. I wouldn't be able to ride an electric scooter. I wouldn't be able to, value timing and my schedule if I was mentally ill.
You would not be able to articulate the things that you do in the manner that you do. You are, Nadav, I don't even know what word to give, but awesome isn't even big enough, because you've come from a whole nother place to be where you are now, and you've allowed yourself to be utilized by your word, Yahweh, to fulfill what it is that you were called upon to do. Do you know how awesome you are? Do you?
In humility, Dora, in humility, I say thank you, and I give all gratitude and glory to y'all, knowing that y'all exist and lives in me, knowing that he's omnipotent. The only reason why I use the masculine term he's is because that's the initial letter, which is the Yud. I know the Hey is feminine, and Hey is attached to every letter in the Hebrew alphabets. But if I say he, I'm never eliminating she, because she is the wisdom. And wisdom itself is far more precious and valuable than what? I want you to complete this sentence. Then rubies and gold.
Then gold, yeah.
Then rubies, gold, silver, everything. And why? It's because it's saying, listen, dear generation, don't chase the bag. Don't chase the bag to where you not pausing for a moment, going into your bag and drinking some water. Don't chase the bag to a moment where you're not taking a pause and nourishing your body with some vitamin C, with some B vitamins, with all of the minerals that you need. Don't do that. When I say intense study, not just the online course of studying to be a CBT practitioner, I've delved so deep into what schizophrenia is, into what psychology is, into what theology is and to what sociology is, so that I can have the ability to maneuver amongst the people
Right.
with different faithologies. I needed to have them skills. When my wife emphasized, honey, this is not etiquette. Honey, this is not cordial. Honey, this is the continental. Honey, this is how you behave this. Honey, iron them clothes. Honey, shower. You know, I'm saying the woman that I'm with right now, I'm saying she's a she. She is a she. And she is wisdom. She is the essence of wisdom. And I am he. So truth is masculine and wisdom is feminine. Let's combine them both. Truth and wisdom. Let's combine them both. You know what's so beautiful about them two terminologies? You know what's so beautiful about them? They both are spirit. They both are something that you cannot pick up with your hand.
Right.
Let me give you an example. This is something tangible. I can pick this up. I can pick up this bottle of water. I can pick it up. I can pick it up. When you tell me, tell the truth, you cannot pick it up in your hand. When you tell someone, use wisdom, you cannot pick this up in your hand. So it's vague and it's flying over people's heads. There's a terminology for the young brothers and sisters. They use YN. I don't know,
Right.
as a young...
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, wow, the truth that I share, I have to catch my wife saying, Kohen. She be calling me Kohen. She be like, honey, we vibing right now. Can you let go, pump brakes a little bit off the truth, honey? They just vibe right now, you know. So she might put on a little Anita Baker, a little Patti LaBelle, and we get to, you know, just chilling, you know.
Right.
You know, it say you can consume wine in a healthy amount, you know,
Right.
and just chill. And that's the only time I do that with my beloved wife.
Right.
You know, and I love her so much because as we share, and I'm going to have the courage and the fortitude to express this on this podcast. My loyalty is not to the brotherhood. My loyalty is to y'all and my wife and my family. And that is the tip I want to share with the brotherhood, because that's not the true brotherhood. And there's a distinct difference between true and truth.
Share that, please.
True is something that can change. Truth is absolute.
Okay.
So when I said that's not the true brotherhood, the truthful brotherhood can be established. What is the truthful brotherhood? The truthful brotherhood is when every man is accountable and responsible for his wife after self, his wife and his children. And you don't see no more broken home.
Wow.
That's truthful brotherhood.
That is so needed.
And the only way that can be exemplified and shared is via our actions. That's the only way. And I have a formula for it. See, I say actions, but in this formula, actions is only the second part of the formula. You have 3 parts. You want to hear the first part?
I want to hear it all.
The first part is be. The second part is do. The third part is have.
Be, do, have.
Absolutely. So I said the second part was action, right? So do is what? Action, activity.
Right.
So be is what? Identity. And the have is what? Property.
Property.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we have identity, we have activity, and then property. If you ever was wondering, how do that sister have on them beautiful clothes, all of that beautiful jewelry, and everything she have is just of quality. I can see it. I can see it's not secondhand. I can see it's not bougie. I can see it's not cheap. And the reason is this sister, she have this is because she is it. You is. You just simply is.
Wow.
And being is simply being. Why is there an ing on be? Because ing is the suffix to the action word. So if anything, if anybody, anyone wanted to know, how can they take action? Do you know any action words in your vocabulary? Call them up. They are your employees. Every action word is your employee. Everyone. Everyone.
Okay.
That's just some food for thought. And that's the whole CBT practitioner is from. And I know they call, there's a new term that they call neuro-linguistic programming.
Right.
When I did my research, programming simply means to write. And to write simply means to express. There is many ways you can write. You can write via verbal expression. Because everything that's being heard, it can be transcribed and into written form.
Right.
And so it's neural because it's all from your neural pathways.
Right.
And they call it linguistic because your verbal expression is not the only language. It's merely verbal expression.
Right.
And then you have writing expression. And then you have neural expression. You have bodily expression.
All of that.
All of it. So if you ever wondered why someone didn't stop when you called upon them, they didn't stop because your expression was faulty or just too weak. But if you utilize your body language, excuse me, you see how assertive I am?
Mm-hmm.
How I'm not fidgeting? How I'm resolved and composed? I commanded them to stop. That was from here. But verbally, all I said was, excuse me. I didn't say excuse me and run after them as their body was continuing.
Right.
No. I just said, excuse me. And what did I do? I WFA. What is that? Wait for an answer. Waited for an answer. Meaning, I didn't force them to stop.
Right.
I was aware of the inner power I had, inner ability. I'm going to use them two terms in exchange.
Okay.
Because a lot of people may get intimidated by the word power. But power simply means ability. If you go into the word Hebrew thought, you see yecholet.
Okay.
If I ask you, Haim yeshlach yecholet la'azor li, what would you say? This is just an example. What would you say? Your mind is going to be prone to going to say yes and not no.
Yes, because you have the ability. If you have the ability.
Okay, but let me also say this. There's a thing called ego.
Right.
I'm gonna break that down. Ego is 3 letters. And so we're going to use the E for exen or etchen or easen. We're going to use the G for God and we're going to use the O for out.
Okay.
As in removing Yah from the center of the table or from the center of your life. And so everybody want to depict themselves as gods, as the master of their fates. They want to.
Okay.
So whenever you address their ability, they're going to say yes. They are not going to say no. They're going to say yes, even if they don't have it. They're going to say yes because there is a cognitive bias established already, pre-established. That cognitive bias is not going to allow you to let a person see you sweating. It's not going to allow you to put on an image in front of nobody that you don't have the ability. And that's your ego. But when you elevate your consciousness to a state of true authenticity, you will say in a healthy way without ego. And you're going to address reality. Currently, I don't have the financial ability or the ability to give you whatever it is you're asking for. However, I would love to assist you in that. If not now, later on down the line. That's a healthy way of expressing that.
Right.
A lot of people not educated in order to construct a sentence. They're not educated and dedicated to construct a sentence. In fact, they are intimidated by lawyers and by judges and by psychologists and by psychoanalyzers. Why? Because them very few people in them fields, they know what's in the Holy Scriptures that Proverbs emphasize in the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21. It emphasizes on life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Such a small piece on the body.
This. How can such a small thing can do such a large fire?
Right.
All these gun shootings, guns fights we having around the world, all these bombings, it's all because of such a small thing is kindling such a large fire.
Yeah.
But let's reverse it on them. Let's start using this to have the courage, the fortitude to express ourselves in a way like Malcolm X did. How about in this predominantly white territory that we in, we have the fortitude and the courage to address uncomfortable truths. How about we do that? In doing that, you won't be a politician. You won't be, because they will not allow you into the parliament with this type of demeanor, with this type of attitude. They will not allow you. But courage, fortitude, and walking in that, you know that you submitted yourself to Yah, to truth, because you worship Yah in spirit and in truth. That's all. That's all. And that's how I received my healing. That's how I received my healing. So that's about the cognitive behavioral therapy and our ability to heal ourselves by seeing exactly what it is and what took place in here, by having the emotional capacity to process everything and to let it burn. I learned that from my wife, because I used to think that addressing the truth is gonna kill me.
Really?
Yes. She said, honey, what is it? Why can't you just touch it? I said, because, sweetheart, a lot of people don't touch it. You don't know. They might go and jump off of a building. They might go and kill themselves. They might be suicidal. She said, I don't know people being that, nobody being that weak. Because once again, she was born and raised in Chicago, Chi-Town finest.
right.
And you gotta be tough. But for my generation here in the land, I'm saying, toughen your skin. Let's look back down on memory lanes when they used to say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may show not hurt you. Let's believe that. Even though I know that words have the power to arise or demise. But how about you prepare yourself so you can be paired to being tough and strong, to protect and to defend what's truthful and what's righteous. That's a challenge I'm presenting to everybody. That's a challenge I'm presenting to everybody.
Repeat the challenge to them.
How about we prepare ourselves to be ready to address uncomfortable truths so that we won't tear down inwardly when touching uncomfortable truths? Or how about we learn to equip ourselves with the proper mindset, with a healthy heart, and a strong posture to address truth, period. Truth, period. Let me give you a beautiful example. I was on a train one day, and this European man got on the train, and I got my earpods in, and I got my camera and my tripod up, and I'm just about to be in my zone. And he was just so intrigued by my whole style, my whole demeanor. Like, what you doing? I told him it's Salem. And I calculated every move that I did. Haiti me od me mukhshav. Calculated. So I said, let me not deflect and respond to him in an unhealthy way. I took out my earbuds, put them in the case, set them down, cut my camera off, and I prepared myself for conversation.
You prepared yourself to teach a class.
For conversation.
You prepared yourself to teach a class.
Iman, I tell you, I kid you not. The man, he mentioned something about the France, being just the top of the line of everything. And I'm looking at this guy like, how dare you? You know everything originated from Africa. How dare you? But I didn't say that. I had the ability to construct myself my sentences in Hebrew in such a healthy manner. Ooh, the man. Woo, he called me Malcolm X. He called me the Messiah. He called me every messianic name that you can call in a book,
Wow.
Iman, I tell you. And then he said, he mentioned Rodney King and how he lived in California at the time, and how a man asked him, what a white man doing in here, renovating in here in this black neighborhood. He said, I'm from Israel. Now, that's in Africa. Now, am I white? Look what I asked this man. I said, look down there. You see that soldier woman in her soldier uniform? What's her pigmentation? He couldn't answer me. I said, okay then, let's call a spade a spade. I said, yes. Even if you are from Morocco, come on, man. You remember Alexander the Great that y'all call the Great? I call him Alexander the Degenerate. But do you remember Alexander? I say he conquered the whole North Africa. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that. And I told him this in a very healthy way. Mm-hmm. And he was like, using the terminologies you need, and I said, let's remove the term need and tsarikh. Mm-hmm. Because I learned that I'm not bounded by what the state of Israel legislate in their laws. I know that I have the ability to define. I know that I am sovereign under the authority of the omnipotent creator. I know that. And I know that the minute that freedom of press was given to me in my hands, freedom of speech was given to me, freedom of movement was given to me, I'm going to say I've been implementing ever since. So let me give you an example. People ask me, you from, and they do it very meticulous to slap me so hard in my face. Mm-hmm. With an attempt, they don't succeed. Because you determine who succeed or who don't succeed to mess up your inner world.
Right.
You determine that. You determine who succeed and who don't succeed to mess up your inner world.
Your inner world.
Your inner world. Mm-hmm. That means you are cognitive behavioral therapy. You are responsible for your thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. So when they say, Atami kila takushi maivrim, you know, and they know what they're doing.
Right.
Once again, I'm being very memukhshav, because you can't have a machshev without chashav and without liot memukhshav and lachshov. Right. All of that, once again, I delve so deep into the language because it's so impeccable.
Right.
That's the only way you can heal yourself. You know? Mm-hmm. So I say, I know I'm saying no to a sentence. So if you ask me, am I from Kilat HaKushi Ma'ivrim? My response to that is what? No.
What is your response?
Because that was a sentence that they presented.
Right.
A sentence is any sentence that's composed with more than 2 words. Mm-hmm. If it have 2 or more words in it, it's called a sentence. So I am is a sentence. I is a word. You see?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I say no. I need mikihilat haivrein. And then they regurgle and say, aval zema shamarti. No, you did not.
That's not what you said.
You did not say that.
Right.
They say aval kacha koim. No, nope. They do not. In fact, in the history of times, then it was the media who socially constructed. It is a construct. And it's so important for me to even tap on the word nigga and the term kushi.
Right.
And to place them in their proper place.
Right.
Okay, because nigga, right, is a terminology that the European put on us in historical times in slavery.
Right.
So that we can be ripped from our true identity, our gender, our dignity, our morals, and our value. We were then considered property.
Right.
So, when we came to Israel, these same Europeans, and I'm going to tell you something about these Europeans in this land versus the ones in the captivity. These people in this land, these Europeans in this land, they protecting, they are gatekeeping this location for the slave masters back in the U.S.
Okay.
That's why they're working so tightly together. They are preserving this land for them. So when they call us Kushi, they are not thinking of the kingdom of Kush in the Holy Scriptures.
Absolutely
They're not thinking of Mamlechet Kush with pride, dignity, morals, value, courage. They're not thinking of that. They're associating that terminology, Kushi Bambo, with what? Nigga. As in you are ripped from.
You are less than.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything derogatory or beneath or not good.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes. So when the man on the train, because I'm keeping it connected, when I said, because he said, you have an accent. Are you French? I even said he attempted to slap me in the face. France is a European place. Mm-hmm. I'm not European at all.
Right.
I'm not. Or if they ask, what is my pigmentation? You see what I'm saying? Don't slap me. Don't attempt to slap me in the face. So I said it in a very healthy way. I said, who define if I have an accent or not? Man, he had to keep on resettling himself. He had to keep on resettling himself.
You messed up that day.
And his nephew and his young cousin from the second generation cousin is in his early 20s, and this guy's in his 50s and 60s. And so I'm just enjoying the whole conversation, the whole interaction, because I've learned that, wow, we can tell the truth with a proper composure. Like you said in your podcast, you emphasized on this. You said you can tell the truth in a way, and you can address something in a very healthy way where the other opponent may not even notice you addressed it. And what is that? That's energy. First of all, you can do that because, A, you educated. Okay, you have some type of superior information, which in the term information, you have form. So in Genesis 2:7, when y'all say he formed us from the dust of the soil, breathed into our nostrils the breath of life, and we became a living soul. This is why I call on y'all, because, he did all this for me. Wait, you made me a living soul? I ain't got to give credence to, no physical members in the community in order to realize this. I don't have to say that Ben-Ami was the conductor of the Bible. I now realize that I, too, can be the conductor of the Holy Bible. Well, you know how inspirational that is for me? For my wife to open my eyes and to say, honey, get in this word. No, honey, what you doing is you lacking. You not praying. You not being a leader. I need you to be a leader. I need you to pray with me every morning, not just the house, the family. I need you to pray for me and you as a spouse. I need you to pray for yourself. Put all them commentary books down and get in the word. Do you know what type of woman that is? A woman who her belief system was Christianity based. And now she walked into the truth, knowing that Christianity was a propaganda of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person and to uphold white supremacies. But what she did is she heard my faith in the community. We read Yeshua, the Hebrew Messiah, or Jesus, the Christian Christ, that Ben-Ami wrote.
Right.
We read that and studied it. We delved so deep into the Greek key Roman study Bible encyclopedia in the library. We read how Yeshua is a black man, how he's from this region. We studied together. We prayed together. From that moment on, she identified as a Hebrew Israelite. And it took me a minute before I accepted Yeshua, the Messiah, into my life. It took me a minute. I was fighting demons left and right to accept Yeshua. And the reason why I said, I'm going to tell you why I was fighting demons left and right. Because in the Bible it said, I can bring it up. In the book of Matthew, Ima. In the book of Matthew, because we on the road. I always need to share this, especially with my generation, because no slight to you, but our elderly generation didn't share this information with us in this format. They didn't.
Okay.
So in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 29 to 30, it says, take my yoke upon you. Take my yoke, a yoke. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart. What is meek and lowly? It means humility. On that CD, you're going to see I must humble myself to restore the balance in my soul. People is fighting for balance. It means you don't have to be an extremist, either all the way left or all the way right. Yeshua taught us how to have balance.
All things must have balance.
Yes.
All things.
All things. He said, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Rest unto your soul. That means you don't have to chase the bag. You don't have to say, I got to get this now. Because if you speeding so fast, how can you have the moment to maintain that calm energy, to think and to reflect? And he said, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So that yoke is easy. And the burden that we all walk around on our backs, you can feel the contention. You can feel the tension. You can feel the energy. You can feel it. And it's like, I'm so happy my wife came here because when we was walking around the Hebrews and Dimona, she sensed it. And she had eyes to see and ears to hear. And I became immune to it because
you grew up in it.
I grew up in it.
You had been immersed in it all of your life.
But it still wasn't a good feeling it, though.
Exactly.
So it's like, for me to address it, it's like I needed courage. I needed the courage to address it.
Yes.
And so if anybody say, this is not Nadav speaking, that's his wife speaking. Wait, hold up. And even if it is her speaking, what's wrong with what she's sharing?
Especially if it's truth.
Absolutely. What's wrong with what she's sharing? Because she wanted all the smoke. And the way it's like, wait, the way she articulate and write and express. And I'm just learning. I had to have a sit down with her and say, sweetheart, she said, what's up, honey? What's wrong? I said, baby, I was just so embarrassed. Because I was embarrassed because we were indoctrinated as men, the male pathology that we must teach and we must give and we must be the law. What is law? Can and can't. That means we determine what can be and what can't be. But if she have some form of superior information that I'm ignorant to, and she share it with me, that is the true essence of men. Leave your father and your mother and cleave to your wife. Cleave is glue onto your wife. Dabek be'ishtecha. Ta'azvu et avichem ve'et imchem ve'dabku be'ishtechem. To glue onto your wife, I don't care. What is the perception or the perspective of no external being when it comes down to my queen? Why? Because Ish and Isha, Yah reside. Even in Mitah, Yah reside. You got Mem, Yuet, Tet, Hey. You see that?
Right.
Yah is present everywhere. Wherever two letters at, Yah is there. Even Kita, you get Yuet, Hey. Even Gisha, you have Yuet, Hey. And so when I looked at the word Gisha, attitude, what is Yah telling us? He's saying, Gash elav. Gash is Lageshet. So that's what Yah told you. He said, Tikshia open his podcast and approached him. And that's what you did. That's exactly what you did.
I just did what I felt I was required
in
to
Gisha,
do.
in Gisha, Yah is there. Now, so the word Gisha, Gimel Yuet Shin Hey, that's attitude. But it's also approach. So attitude is internal and approach is external. Mm-hmm. And so we constantly, when they say, that's all of thy soul, that's all of thy heart, and all of thy might. And the opposite of that is schizophrenia.
Is what?
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because schizophrenia is a Latin word. In Hebrew, it means nefesh meshusa'at. Nefesh meshusa'at is a broken soul. Okay. And so my wife shared with me before she came to Israel, honey, it's okay. You don't have a schizophrenia, you have a broken soul. But let me tell you something beautiful about having a broken soul. We can bring it down to first grade level, kindergarten level. It's a puzzle. That's it. A broken soul is nothing but a puzzle. Let's put that broken soul together. Then you won't be intimidated by fixing this broken soul. Then you can call on everyone to have a one-on-one consultation with you, and you can literally hear them out and help them assess and put the puzzle together.
And the puzzle does not require medication.
It doesn't. Medication is merely here to stagnate the symptom, to stagnate it. The problem, to stagnate the problem.
Perpetuate.
Okay, let me give you an example. To have run-on thoughts, that's a form of mental illness.
Okay,
it's a form because you don't have regulation of your thoughts. And a thought is something you're supposed to regulate so that you can express it and put a punctuation on it, or to put a comma in the middle of it, which is 3-second pause. My wife taught me that too. I'm telling you, she sent me articles in communication, in psychology, and biology. I had to study everything. She wrote on this board, honey, you see this? She said, right here is 1 and this is a half. You cannot be a half in this relationship. You have to be 1. We're supposed to complement one another. Because if I'm half and she's 1, I'm pulling too much from her. I'm too needy for her. I'm too needy. I'm going to be crying like a baby. I'm going to be like so desperate because I got fear of abandonment issues because, once again, my parents separated when I was 8 months.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the beauty in how everything is connected. Everything is connected. So to sum up the first question, I know we went to the second question, but to sum up the first question, that was from my childhood. I'm letting you know that I experienced, I would use the term being bullied. I would use it in school. And I would also use the expression that I had to fight for myself, but it was psychologically damaging. Why? Because I was between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, I want to be obedient. I desire to be obedient and to be very good. I did. However, the trauma occurred because I could not control everyone in the class.
Absolutely.
And when you got some knuckleheads, you just got some knuckleheads. When you got people warming up the chair, you got people warming up the chair. If they're not going to be educated and being an academician, that means that their mind gonna float somewhere else. It says an idle man is a devil's workshop. So that means they about to start cracking jokes. They about to start laughing. There's gonna be a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And now I'm in there, and one brother saying, "Wait, one for all for one." Now everybody got to get a whooping. You know what I'm saying? One for all for one. So because I couldn't control all of them, because I didn't know that I was supposed to be a leader. I never knew I was supposed to be a leader. The whole ideology of being a leader, that was not me, until my wife said, honey, you have to be a leader. The minute you get married, you now a leader. Even if she turned away a whole 4-year degree from Dubuque University in Iowa in order to marry me. She had her driver's license. She had an education. She was already being a mother to 2 beautiful, handsome sons. She was holding it. She wasn't like Taraji P. Henson in that new movie that Tyler Perry produced.
Right.
She wasn't like her. She had all of them balls juggling it. So it's like, what can you offer me other than consistent smacks, right?
Right.
And financial support.
Right.
What can you offer me? You know what I told her? I said, all I got is the power of will. That's all I did.
The power
of will.
The power of will.
Yes. Y'all said if you're willing and obedient, then you should be blessed. Obedient coupled with the willingness, you should be blessed. And once again, I would tell this to my grandmother. I would tell this to my mother. I would tell this to my father. I would tell this to my siblings. You may think that my wife came to take me away from you. I probably felt that too. But no, she was breaking biases that I had constructed and programmed in me. She was breaking biases that I had conditioned in me. Let me give you an example of a bias. If you see your Abba eating tomatoes or eating avocados, cut it up and put salt on it and just eat the avocado like that, you're going to want to do that. It's a bias, you know. You might think you love doing that. No, you didn't love doing that. You just started doing it because you seen him. You was programmed.
Right.
You know? So I've learned, okay, I'm not just going to, it's a mentality. I'm going to cut this avocado up. I'm going to go in and season it. I'm going to make it look presentable. And then my wife started teaching me, honey, you can cook now and make it presentable.
I
and
saw you cooking the other day. Your little video, you was in there cooking. Like, look at the chef.
You know, my Abba asked me, he said, man, you know, because my wife took a flight and she returned home and I had the 5 children to myself. She said, honey, you got it. I said, no, I need a sister. I need a sister here. Just maybe I could call Ima or, but I had it. I was waking up at 5:30. My alarm was on. She's like, honey, you was waking up at, absolutely. I said, baby, I'm efficient. You know, if I'm waking up at 7, I'm waking up at 7 because, you know, I worked and I got in at this time.
Right.
You know, I'm just, and then get up, drive them to school, drive them home.
Right.
And then I go and do receive my daily bread after I attend to my family. Family, creating harmony in the family. Taking them to the park. Family, cultivating them. And wherever I'm short in, as my wife always emphasizing, honey, you are not merely a provider, and you are excellent provider. But the man's role is to provide, cultivate, and protect. I need you to step up and cultivate it. I need you to step up and protect him so we can feel safe.
And you receive what it is that she brings you without feeling intimidated or small or less than. And you work together.
I like how you asked that.
No, I wasn't asking it. I'm acknowledging.
You're acknowledging.
I'm acknowledging that you
it.
have the capacity to do that because there are some individuals that are unable to receive that.
Yes, but I'm a work in progress, though. I'm a work in progress, and the reason why I'm a work in progress, I'm not just gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm a work in progress because I was programmed. Sit down, shut up, and listen. Y'all man, woman, and child. I was programmed. As one of the sisters said on your podcast, that she want to acknowledge her husband as a spouse, not as my Lord. But Lord in the Bible, they even use the term Baal. Baal is above and on. As Queen Yosef mentioned, I love his counsel. He said, rule in her, through her, not over her. Because Yud and Hey, they work together. They are unison. Emotion is what? Energy coupled with motion. Motion is movement. You cannot move forward if you stagnate. If you don't have emotional intelligence, all your doctrine, all your academic propaganda is not worth it. To hear that from my wife, honey, put all of them commentary books down. Jump into the word, because I know the word from beginning to the end. She know it. And I said, sweetheart, so if we have any debate, unwarranted debate, I made sure that I invest in a book, The Joy of Conflict Resolution, so that I can learn to remove myself from the drama triangle and now dwell in a circle of resolution.
Right.
In a circle of resolution, because I
like that. The circle
of resolution.
I like that.
Any problem you give me, give me a list of 100 problems, and I'm going to give you all the solutions to them. Because I now made it my destiny to be resolved. Resolved. What is resolved? Resolved is there is a determining factor and there is a contributing factor. Mm-hmm. Anything outside of you, anything around the circumstance, that means you standing around the circle. You're not in the circle, you around the circle. What's around the circle? Bills, rent, mortgage, people, their thoughts, their beliefs, their ideologies. All of these stuff is in them. Mm-hmm. What's inside of you?
Right.
You are the determining factor. So if you have any questions, you should be brainstorming to answer them immediately yourself. You should not ask a question that you don't have the answer to. Now I know why you have people signing up so you can know before they even begin to express on it.
Right.
And that's beautiful.
And I'm not trying to blindside anybody. I want this is a give and take. This is us doing this together.
Yes.
You know, I'm just the tool or the vehicle that is used to help you to share your journey, your story, your piece of the puzzle. You know. So that's all that I am.
Absolutely. So in going back to the childhood, as I said, the trauma, the bullying, you know, I remember fighting. They were so tall and big. You know, I was a small young man. I was just so small. I was short for so long in my life. And, you know, my wife might still crack a joke and be like, honey, you shorter than me. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm 5'7", you 5'6". But, you know, I mean, some people have short torsos and long legs, and some people have long legs and short long torsos, whatever. You know, and so in that, I learned to be confident in self. I learned how to not be afraid of nothing, but I learned to balance my life where I can look at the external factors, right, and the contributing factors, and I can choose to either give them ability over my life or seize ability over my life. Ability, capacity, and capability.
Keyword being you choose.
Absolutely.
You choose.
Not
Everything's about a choice.
I'm gonna take it up to a notch. I don't want to use the word choose. I want to use the word decide.
Okay, I like that.
And I'm gonna tell you why. There's a difference between choice and decision making.
Okay.
The distinct difference between choice and a decision is a choice is you choosing from options.
Right.
To decide is to dice, as in to cut off and to take a side. I took the inner side of me and I cut everything else off. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what divinity is. Divine is also to cut, decide. All of that is to separate between the wheat and the tare. That's what it is. Period. That means I'm no longer going to say, oh, you bullied me. I was constructed in this way. At the time, I allowed that to happen.
Right.
Due to whatever I was lacking. Whatever I was lacking. And when I reflect on what I was lacking on my protein. I was not eating the chickpeas and the beans consistently.
Right.
You know, once again, I came from a very humble beginning. I would use the word poor. I would use poor. Yes, I was poor when I was growing up. I was poor. You know, poor in maybe having sufficient amount of food. Right. You know, due to the brothers at the time, they was working, but they was being cheated out of their paychecks. Because people would give them a whole project and then not pay them.
Run off with their money.
Underpay
them.
Exactly. And also poor emotionally because my mother wasn't consistent in my life. Right. To this very moment.
Right.
To this very moment. You know, the whole community know my mother.
Right.
You know, she's beautiful. She's precious. We know, however, from her childhood, she's been dealing with the challenges that she's still combating to this very moment. And I love her so dearly, but I would say that it go deeper than deeper, right, as she shared with me. So it's like, forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us, knowingly or unknowingly.
Right. Right. And one thing I would like to interject for those of us that are older, some of us, not all, we're not available, even though we may have been in the house with our children, we're not readily available for our children, and consequently did not share, did not teach, did not instill things that our children needed for them to be whole individuals as they grew up. They grew up broken. They grew up in trauma. And some of us came from those same things ourselves. That is not to make an excuse. That is to acknowledge what has happened and to decide to change it.
Period. And change, the Hebrew word for change is shinui, which comes from shana.
Yeah.
You know, and Shana, Shena, Shinui all come from the same word. Even Shen, your teeth. You know, that's why if your teeth is hurting, it can affect your mind.
Definitely.
And your mind, if you sleep deprived, then you cannot function. You cannot function properly.
Yeah.
And if you ever realize that in the military, they literally on purpose sleep deprive them. You know that, right?
They do.
That's what give them the mindset to go into killing. That's what give them that mindset. Because they now sleep deprived. And when you sleep deprived, you're not at your full mental capacity in order to make decisions on your own. So now you conformed and you subjugated yourself to a commander and a lieutenant to tell you exactly what to do. And when you do it, man, you got a lot of trauma aftermath or the aftermath to deal with.
Right.
Because you was an adult. You was 18. You can't tell me that you were not an adult if they gave you a gun in your hand. They're not gonna put a gun in a child's hand.
But you do realize, you do know, I know that you know that the brain, the formation of the brain, it is not fully developed until the age of between 26 and 27, 25 and 27. So even though numerically, because who decided they were an adult? That's a number that somebody decided.
Agreed upon.
So those individuals really did not have the capacity, the capability of making adult decisions at that time.
I can believe that. I can accept that. And I want to say this. Prior to 18, let's go to 13. Now we in the teens. We were kings and queens at that age.
Elohai beka batachti ala bosha al yalsu